So suppose you're the CEO, right? And it doesn't matter. I'm picking a CEO because they tend to be very time constrained, and that'll come into play in just a second. But you are anyone at a company and you've got a problem, and you don't necessarily have to have technical skills, but you say, our CRM is a mess. I keep having to check for problems and nag the sales reps to fix them. I wish we could automate checking and push issues to them, right? It's like a very common problem, messy CRM. It'd be great if it was always in pristine condition, but it's not. So the old way to do it is you call your IT department. Now, let me say I am very pro IT departments, and I'm going to talk about why you still need your IT department in a minute, right? But this is sort of the old way, which is a characterization of what happens. So the IT department is going to go, okay, good. You got a problem. We're going to help you solve it. We're going to go through the software development life cycle. We'll plan, analyze, design, implement, test, and maintain, right? Software development is a very challenging problem. And so you're going to have lots of people. You've got to have architects and project managers and product owners, software engineers, full stack developers, people who do UI, UX, QA people, business analysts, DevOps people, right? So it turns into this sort of large problem. What happens if you do it with a coding assistant? And again, coding assistant not going to get rid of your IT department. I'll talk about that in just the next slide. So you say, hey, coding assistant, our CRM is HubSpot. It's got lots of missing data, duplicates, and bad dates. I'd like to create a system that checks the CRM every night for common errors and send emails to the responsible sales reps with a list of the things that need to be fixed, right? So you can see I sort of took it from the pain point to a little bit of a description of what it is that I want the coding agent to do for me. We'll see that transition as we go through the rest of the slides. And the coding agent will go, okay, I got a few questions for you. So it's actually going to work with you to be able to solve that problem. So, why doesn't everybody write code? And so what are the things need to have to write software, right? So one thing is you need time because it is, as I said, it's a challenging process and you need knowledge of coding. So you think about where your average CEO is. Not all CEOs, again, our CEO is very technical. And that this may not be where he lives, but CEO on average doesn't know a lot about coding and has very little spare time, right? Now, your engineers, they know a ton about coding, but they're also super busy, right? They're working on lots of projects, internal facing, external facing, and so time is always a problem. But what do you need to write software with a coding assistant? So what I would claim a coding assistant does is it has all the knowledge about coding that you need to solve certain tasks. So the barrier there is very low. You probably have the ability to talk to one of these coding agents and they are very, very fast. So it compresses those two axes. And so the CEO or the sort of non-technical person who just has a pain that they're dealing with in their everyday business life, they suddenly are in the upper right-hand corner of that trade-off and can actually start writing code. Your engineers, on the other hand, become superheroes, right? So they can get more done faster and your organization can benefit from it. I do want to point out that you still need your software team. So if you look at the kind of transition from a proof of concept to a prototype to a MVP to production code, the idea is that you, as someone who's using a coding assistant who is not necessarily a coder, it gives you the ability to build POCs and prototypes very, very quickly. However, there is a big difference between having a POC or a prototype and having something that's actually production quality. And there's a lot of pain that can be experienced in going from this end to this end. So the software teams, the them in this case, they can help you with security and integrations and monitoring and deployment and testing and governance and all those kinds of things, which a coding assistant is probably not going to let you do. Now, your software team can use coding assistants, but their expertise is crucial if you're going to have something that's going to run in production.